Welcome to the latest installment of the Red Pill Africa video series. In today's video, I'll be discussing the worst mindset that prevents us, the African elites, from being the solution for Africa's problems. Without wasting time, let's get started. Meaning in life is characterized by moral choices. When the choice is between two difficult options, or when the actual choosing is very difficult, we call that choice a dilemma. It is the failure to make the right choice when faced with a dilemma that prevents many of us from transforming our lives from average lives to great lives. As Africans, our dilemmas are mainly due to the constraint brought on by the heritages of birth than from the personal choices we have to make. In my third book, Beyond the Fourth Heritage, I talked about the greatest dilemma we have, which I called the African elite dilemma. The dilemma is that the more educated we are, the more we advance in the modern civilization, the more we are cut off from the African roots. But no tree can grow tall without its roots. Many of us fail to make personal choices between what we learn in education, which is usually Western and Islamic ideas, and the traditional cultures of our ancestors. We end up being suspended between the foreign and the tradition in a sort of paralysis, mental paralysis. Psychologically, this would be called a cognitive dissonance. We fail to plant ourselves either in the tradition or the foreign, and the end is that we are ruthless about our identities and convictions. The mental paralysis causes two civilizational existential problems that I called a scattered intelligence and shallow collective memories. Scattered intelligence means the status quo whereby many of us, even if we are intelligent, waste that intelligence in meaningless or substandard behaviors and psychologies that have not lifted the African continent. Or on the other hand, we spend all our intelligence and intellectual capacity uplifting Western or Islamic worldviews. For example, we know most of the bright Africans can be found in universities or institutions in America, in the UK, and many other places outside the continent. Shallow collective memories refers to the fact that throughout our education, we are cultivated with an identity that is tied to the colonial countries, which are very recent creations by Europeans. Or on the other hand, we have the identities of the oral tribal allegiances, which we never cultivate through education. Think about it, all the colonial countries in Africa were created recently only after the Berlin Conference of 1884. For example, the country Uganda started being created in 1892 and its final borders were in 1900. If you think about it as an independent country, it's only 58 years because we got independence in 1962. So you can appreciate that if I take the colonial country as my deepest identity, I will always have a collective memory that is shallow compared to someone, for example, a Japanese, whose collective memory is thousands of years old. Whether the African elite dilemma caused the two civilizational problems or it was the other way around is an issue of a chicken and egg problem. But no matter what came first, one thing for sure is that the African elite dilemma prevents us, the African elites, from proposing lasting solutions that would uplift Africa. Hence, all these problems and complaints that our continent has. In the next video, I'll be talking about the other 5 mindsets that are a problem for us in the modern era.